Hi, this is RN Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein. This is a channel that brings to you every week a policy analysis, an occasional business story, and sometimes a conversation. But at this time, at 8:15 in the morning, we come to you with news behind the news. We take up titles that are very important in our view, bring up the titles and analyze those titles of what they mean for India, for the world. And since this is the first day of a new week, here's wishing you a wonderful week ahead. Hope it's prosperous and meaningful for all of you. And yes, before I begin, please tell all your friends about us, because we like people to know about us so that our audience grows, especially since we think we are doing something very, very important. As always, I have with me my co-anchor, Anurag. Welcome, Anurag. And the titles that we shall be talking about today are very interesting. One is on Gaza, on Palestine, and how the pressure is building up to give it a separate statehood. Very interesting development, because this will change many equations around the world, even business plans. The second story is about how China has worked out a deal with the UAE to make fertile its deserts. China has already done that successfully in its own deserts 4 or 5 years ago, and amazingly well. And there's a third story which we think is extremely important for India, because India's FDI has fallen to its lowest ever in recent memory. And let's begin with the first story first, because we think this is important. The United Nations came up with an announcement that the 16th of June, it'll hold a special session to consider statehood for Gaza. This has been talked about for the last 40 years, 50 years, but each time the US puts in a veto. Now the pressure is growing, and the pressure is growing so amazingly strong that the US may have to wriggle around. Even if it does give a veto, it'll be like what happened in South Africa, where the world is against the state and everyone has to succumb at the last minute. Incidentally, 4 countries have already recognized Palestine as a separate country. And those 4 countries are Ireland, Spain. 4 countries have already recognized Palestine as a separate country. And right now, Spain has also announced yesterday that it'll be calling a special meeting of all EU members. Till now, the EU was wishy-washy about giving support to Palestine. But now Spain has taken the lead, and Spain has decided that it'll call a meeting and make sure that this is discussed, and they may even announce an embargo or a sanction against Israel for trade and for arms. Israel is cornered. Israel is bankrupt, and had it not been for American funds, it would have been declared a bankrupt state a long time ago. Yet it is a goal to keep on killing people, keep on killing children, some with sniper bullets not once but twice in the head. As Mearsheimer, the guru of geopolitics, points out, this is worse than Germany. Anyway, let's go to the second story, and the second story is equally interesting. It is about what China is doing with UAE. Anurag, over to you.
Good morning. Today's report is about a Chinese city known for its prominent vegetable farming, Shogun, which has agreed to build a smart agriculture center in the UAE to boost farming in the deserted country. Leading UAE agri-tech firm Silal has signed a strategic cooperation agreement with Shogun vegetable industry group on Monday to co-invest 120 million dirham, which is close to approximately $32 million US dollars to build a 100,000 square meter center for smart agriculture to transform desert farming in the Middle Eastern country. The facility will feature greenhouse systems imported from Shogun and customized for the UAE's environment. These include smart glass houses, film connected structures, and large span solar greenhouses. Moreover, supporting infrastructure will include an AI lab, technology testing zones, water treatment systems, edible fungus cultivation areas, and cold supply chain logistics center, creating an end-to-end agricultural ecosystem from seeding to export, the company said. Monday's deal is in alignment with broader trends in China's agricultural trade. In April, the General Administration of Customs reported that exports of pesticides formulations to countries involved in the Belt and Road Initiative rose by 15.5% in the first quarter, while agricultural machinery exports to the same countries, such as UAE and other Middle Eastern countries, rose by 37.2%. Meanwhile, the in-house agriculture, specifically vertical farms and hydroponic systems, is gaining traction in the UAE as a way to enhance food security and address the challenges of desert climate. The UAE, with limited arable land and high reliance on import, is actively investing in these technologies to increase local food production. Some of the technologies used in the UAE is vertical farming, which involves growing crops in vertical stacked layers, often in climate controlled environments, maximizing space and resources efficiency. And then there is hydroponics, by which crops are grown without soil using nutrient-rich water, which reduces water usages and allows the year-round cultivation. Vertical farming, particularly when incorporated with hydroponics, can offer significant potential to address India's agricultural challenges as well, including water scarcity, land limitation, and the need for sustainable food production. What do you think, sir? How far along is India to adapt these technologies to improve their agricultural needs?
I mean, this is the irony that India confronts. We go to UAE, talks are there. Have we tried to change farming there? No, it is China which has gone there. And we are an agricultural country too. It just shows the absence of vision. And hydroponics, which is at least 10 years old, has not taken off in India except in experimental stages because the government does not want to invest heavily in agriculture. Hydroponics is brilliant because, unlike what you learned in school, that you have good soil, good water, and sunlight, you can have good agriculture. In hydroponics, you don't need sunlight, you don't need soil, you only need nutrient-rich water, which is again cleaned up and recirculated. So typically, hydroponics allows you to use just 10% of water and yet get double the output per acre. And in hydroponics, since it's shell farming, 1 acre becomes 10 acres. So the potential is huge. And India can easily do this both for itself and for the other countries, but India has not picked up that initiative yet, which is again unfortunate. And good, thank you, Anurag, for the story. The China's doing this with UAE is very meaningful. But look at another place where India slipped. On Saturday, the Times of India reported that India's FDI, net FDI, had fallen to its lowest level ever. It fell by 96%. FDI is foreign direct investments that is not portfolio investment. It is investment that comes into manufacturing, into services, into setting up offices in India. This means that India is not an attractive place for investments. The highest we were was in 2008-9, and after that, we've been going down and down, especially the last 5 years. It's been precipitous. When you break contracts, people don't like it. When the investment climate is terrible and you have law authorities interfering with your work constantly, investment doesn't take place. When you don't allow investors to go in for arbitration, they don't like it. And that is why FDI has gone down. If FDI goes down, it means the country is not a reliable partner for investing and manufacturing here, notwithstanding the big investments of Foxconn, of the automobiles, EV batteries, etc. India changes its rules so often that nobody wants to take a risk unless he's politically well connected. Anyway, that's a lesson that India will have to cope with. It's good the numbers are coming out. We are going around talking about the war that took place some time ago. Concentrate on improving productivity. The panel that had gone overseas to spread the message, let them go to every state and see how productivity can be improved. India desperately needs jobs. India desperately needs wealth generation. And India desperately needs to show the foreigners that this is a place worth investing in. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's session. And before I take up questions and answers and comments, just a small reminder. Please click the subscribe button. If you've not clicked it already, click the like button if you like this program. But most important, and I repeat, most important, is that you tell all your friends and associates about us so that they also can see the kind of work that we have been doing. Thank you. But let me go to the questions first. The first question is interesting. It's on what Anurag talked about. If deserts can be made fertile, there should be no food shortage. Exactly. And that is what hydroponics is all about. It can grow the crop of any country of any season anywhere. It only concentrates on the environment, a sealed environment. It only concentrates on humidity levels and on nutrients that the plant requires. Instead of sunlight, they use LEDs. And more importantly, the food is richer, is pesticide-free, because 80% of the pests that you find in agriculture come from the ground. If there's no soil, there are no pests. And aerial pests are controlled by very fine meshes. It's a new way to look at agriculture in a climate change scenario. And yes, we have another question coming up, and that is, if FDI has gone down, what must India do? Well, India has to become more attractive, hospitable, investor-friendly, and allow people the comfort of settling a legal dispute, if not in India, anywhere, as the agreement specifies. In other words, if your courts are going to take 5 years, and arbitration can finish the dispute in 6 months, 1 year, allow them. And these are things that India forgets. And the last question is about Israel. With all these developments, why is Israel not stopping? Stopping is genocide, I think he means. Yes, Israel has to stop the genocide. It's barbarous. It's a barbarian's approach. And Israel has a mythical approach that this was ancestral land, we must get it back again. Before that, the land did not belong to Israel before the Jews came in. At that time, it belonged to the Egyptians. Where do you draw the line in history? And you can't kill people for the notion of your history. You are destroying the world. You're making the world a riskier place. And money that should have gone into productivity and improving the lives of people is being used in weaponry. Of course, America's military industry complex loves it because they make more money. But the Jewish lobby in America needs to realize that humanity comes first. Everything comes later. Anyway, it's good that these developments are taking place. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching this program. And do tune in tomorrow at 8:15 in the morning. In the meantime, have a great day and a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Take care.